Alright, everybody, can you hear me out there in the chat? Okay, awesome. This is new to me, doing the live thing here. I'm about to get on the call with Taylor here in a second, but I was just making sure everyone can hear me and I sound good and all that. So I think we're good. I'm also gonna do a quick post to the Instagram story here. I've been pretty good, man. How about yourself? I agree, Seth. Baba Booey. Try that again. Can y'all hear us in the chat? Okay, sweet. Check something here. All right. Whenever you're ready, we can go ahead and get started here. Sweet. Okay, there we go. All right. So first, I just want to say thank you again for doing this really cool opportunity here. Pretty much how I have this formatted for you here tonight is some questions that the fans left in my comments, as well as some that I have, and then I might take a few from the live chat here as well. But let's go ahead and get started. So the first question was from an Instagram user named Lucas, and they want to know, what is your favorite thing about pitching in Texas?
Favorite thing about pitching in Texas? Um, it's hard to pinpoint just one thing. I'd probably say pitching in indoor stadium is a big one, but um, I'm ready for the experience. I mean, I kind of got a taste of it in Frisco, but kind of ready to experience and pitch in front of family and friends as well.
Not been able to watch a game there yet, but I took a tour of it and it's pretty nice. I'm hoping this year we can actually fill it up a little bit with some fans.
Yeah, yeah, we will for sure.
Okay, so the next question that we had here was from an Instagram user named Diego, and he wanted to know who your best friend on the team is.
Uh, Probably best friend on the team. Probably Jose, even though he's losing in our battle right now, but it's Jose for sure.
Yeah, we'll be talking about that later as
For
well.
sure, for sure.
But that stream y'all did the other day was pretty funny, and y'all gave away some great stuff as well for the fans. So always love to see that.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's a lot of fun doing that. We're gonna definitely. We haven't posted yet. But we're gonna go live. He wants to go live again. We'll do it Friday, and then I think he's got some more stuff he's gonna give away, and I got some more stuff to give away as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, there you go, y'all. Make sure to follow him and Jose on Instagram and get in on some of those giveaways. All right, next question is kind of extension of the first one, but overall, what are your thoughts on the stadium?
I think the stadium is nice. I think it's a great place to pitch, especially for pitchers. I think it plays better when the roof is closed and open. I think that's just me personally as well. I've pitched in both, if I'm correct. I think I have pitched with the roof open, but I think yeah, it's definitely pitcher's park though for sure. Definitely look at the dimensions. I think it's like 330 something down left field and right field, and then the gaps are close to 400. So I'll for sure take that as a pitcher.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a preview with those gaps in this past season, hitting triples out there, and really just having to play the outfield looks like it's going to be a challenge over the coming years.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so our next question was from an Instagram user by the name of Nick, and he wanted to know if you played video games as a kid, and if so, what was your favorite?
Video games as a kid, I was a FIFA fan, Madden, and NBA Live. The reason why I was a big FIFA fan, I played soccer more than I did anything else because the first soccer player I saw that I was a big fan of was Wayne Rooney, and I was a big that turned me on to Manchester United when I was in like middle school, high school. So, but yeah, definitely. Oh, and Call of Duty, of course, Call of Duty.
Very nice. And this next question came from an Instagram user named Landon, and he wanted to know what your goals are for the 2021 season and really just the rest of your MLB career.
Uh, well, the rest of my MLB career, the plan is to um, do enough to get in the Hall of Fame. I think that'd be a big milestone for sure. As for goals this year, I don't really set goals. Really, I really don't because I feel like we have a tendency to like limit ourselves when we set goals. So if it's stuff that I am trying to set. It's more so working on like types of pitches, like different shapes, trying to attack hitters, lefties, righties, a certain way. But if I had to pinpoint one, it would just be um, I'd say drop the batting average that lefties bat against me. I think it's like 220, 230, something like that. So I'm gonna try to drop that as low as I can. But it's easier said than done. Um, Another goal. Mm, I think another goal is just try to trying to really have a really high strike percentage. Because last year I really had a good strike percentage. Probably I think it was about 60. I think it was like 63, 64%.
Okay, yeah, those are all pretty good goals for sure, especially Hall of Fame. But yeah, you definitely had a good season this past year, bouncing back from that injury in 2019. So I was glad to see you out there.
Yeah, man, it felt good. It felt good to be back out there. Definitely was in a different role. But it was fun though. It was fun though. And now I'm excited for this year. Definitely gonna. They, told me gonna give me a shot at starting, so I'm trying to go out there and win a job. Hopefully.
Yeah, there you go. Best of luck to you on that, and you'll get a full season as well this year.
Yeah,
Fingers
yeah,
crossed. So.
yeah.
All right, and our next question came from Gabe, who wanted to know what has been the most grueling travel experience you've had so far in your minor league or major league career.
Man. And there's two that really stick out. So minor league would be when I was in Double A with the Pirates. We played Erie, the Double A team for the Tigers. Traveled to Erie. No. We left Altoona, went to go play the Giants in um, um, where was that Double A? Richmond, Virginia. So we go to Richmond, Virginia, and then we play a 3-game set, 3 or 4 game set there. Then we leave Richmond, Virginia, and go straight to Erie from Virginia all the way to Pennsylvania, northern Pennsylvania, where it's close, where it was cold, and then from Erie back to Altoona. But like the worst part about it was still cold. So the first month of the season, it snowed almost like it was almost every day in Pennsylvania. So it was weird. So we went from cold in Altoona. We go play in 80-degree weather in Virginia, and then we leave from 80-degree weather. Then we go to Erie, where winds are gusting at about 20 miles an hour, like legit off the water, and it's cold, it's rainy, and that was the longest series ever. And probably big league was the last week of the season last year. We went from here to Houston, from Houston to LA, from LA to Arizona, and then from Arizona to back here to finish up. That was a rough stretch.
Yeah, I think I saw something that said y'all had the most away miles to travel last year out of any team, which
It
kind of
was
sucks.
it was crazy. It was crazy, dude. It was real crazy.
And I'm sure none of the COVID stuff helped that out either. I mean, they had.
Mm-mm.
I'm surprised they even still did the season, honestly, even after it happened already. But it was still
Yeah,
a lot
I mean,
to do.
we couldn't really do much. I mean, you can only be in your room, so when it was a long road trip like that, I just stayed in my room, went to sleep, and just watched TV basically.
Yeah, there you go. I believe they had y'all stay in that new Texas Live hotel, right, when you were here, or did they let you kind of go around town a little bit?
Yeah, no, we were still able to move around.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, and then our last question from Instagram is from Chris, and he wanted to know what you think the Rangers need to do to get back to the playoffs.
Um, I think, honestly, I think from an honest standpoint, I think we look really good this year. And I know people say that all the time, but I really think like the pieces that we picked up, and then especially all of us that finally getting some experience, getting comfortable. I really think we're gonna probably shock some people this year because we got a lot of young guys who took some huge steps in the field and starting and even in the bullpen as well. So I'm really looking forward to it. If I had to pinpoint what we could do, and we just continue, you know, being the identity that we are, and just more so just continue to growing from each other like we have been, and enjoying the process. Because last year was a 60 game sprint, so it was pretty hard. I feel like over 162 games this year, it'll be a lot different.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they made a ton of good pickups already this off season. And it feels like it was years ago. I don't even remember most of them, but I just remember all of them being pretty good, and I was surprised that they were making the moves. I know one was the pitcher from Japan, Kohei. Really excited to see what he can do. Slide him in the rotation after they lost Mike Minor, Lance Lynn, and Corey Kluber, unfortunately. But they still got a solid team, like you said. Decent rotation, pretty good bullpen, and maybe you can help them out if you get a starting spot as well.
Hey man, I'm gonna do whatever they need, dude. Whatever they
Yeah,
need. I mean, because we got the pieces and we're starting to come together. So I mean, as a player, working out with everybody and everything, like I'm really excited to see what we got.
that's good because that's ultimately what what it comes down to. People can run all the numbers they want, look at all the stats, but if the
Yeah,
team chemistry is there, that's something you can't buy. So
yeah, for sure, for sure.
I think as well, once the team gets more games in the new stadium, they can kind of play to it better because 60 games and I think it was probably about 30 at home last year. That's not a lot of games to get used to a brand new stadium.
No, it really wasn't. It really wasn't because we were still. I wouldn't say we were more so like trying to figure stuff out, but it was a weird year because usually you feed off the energy of the fans and everything, and there was like nobody there, so it was definitely a lot weirder, you know.
Yeah, it will be very interesting to see what they can do next year.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was all of our questions from the fans. But before we get into mine, I was going to take a couple from the chat here. And the first one that we had was actually before the stream even started. It was from Joel. And he wanted to know what your routine was when you get ready to pitch a game.
Um, let's see. So it's coming out of the bullpen last year. It was a I was somewhat trying to so like whenever the game was going on for a 9 inning game, I was doing something arm care or not even arm care wise, but more so just move my arm. So like I would get a baseball and I'd be throwing against the back wall. I'd probably do 5 or 6 throws starting in like the fifth inning. And just in case something happened, that way my arm's already ready. So that way when like sitting, you're not cold for the whole long. Then they call you in the seventh inning. You know, you gotta get your arm warm. Like I'm throwing a baseball, not really throwing pitches, just throwing enough, just keep the arm loose and just working it, just kind of keep blood flowing. Um, but yeah, that was a big one for me in the bullpen. I had to learn that, and then also um, with warm up pitches, I wasn't more so trying to hit spots left, right uh, on the plate. It was more so just trying to throw everything down the middle for a strike, and just trying, but knowing that when I was coming in certain situations, um, it wasn't trying to make sure I had all my pitches working. I needed to make sure I had at least 1 or 2 pitches that were going to be working for when I came in the situation.
How were those late game situations this year without any fans? Because I know that's, of course, a huge factor to get you pumped up before you run out of the bullpen and all that stuff.
It was, the first couple games, it was adrenaline rush, but then after a while, it kind of just got to the point where it's like, hey, we did what we got to do to get ready mentally, but more so physically. It took me a while to get the physical part because I've never done it before. So I was learning, I was doing different things, trying to figure out what to do, and I just realized, hey, I just gotta, do what I can, keep my arm loose, not throw too many pitches, so that when I'm called, instead of me warming up to 15, 20 pitches, it takes me like 6 to 8 to get on.
That's really good. I think it's for sure important to make sure coming off an injury, especially that you feel good physically and mentally. So doing those kind of pregame things will help that out.
Yeah, but that's also a thing too. Like what people don't really understand is, being a pitcher and being a baseball player in general. Like some of the best days you have are going to be the days when you don't feel the best. So it's like people like players need to understand or kids that are coming up need to understand that if you if your body doesn't feel that good that day, it's not a bad thing. It's not like you need to be taken out. It's not like something's wrong with you. It's like, hey, you're playing a physical, demanding game almost. So it's like your body's not gonna be feeling the best. Like some of the best games I pitched in last year were some of the games that like I didn't feel good physically.
Okay, so that's definitely interesting, but that makes sense. Over the
Mm-hmm.
course of so many games, you're not going to be 100% every day.
No, no, never, never.
And I think from what I've witnessed as a fan, a prime example of that was towards the end of Adrian Beltre's career, how he just was almost injured every single day, but he was still hitting 300, 38, 39 years old, and he just went out there and grinded it out.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's how it is, especially when you're that at his age. Also, it was definitely a grind and be able to get through it like that.
Yeah, there's not going to be anyone quite like him ever again.
No, no, different. He's a rare breed.
All right, and we got a couple more questions from the comments here. This is from Centerfield Media, and he wanted to know what your reaction and what your feelings were when you got traded to Texas.
Well, I found out at 2 a.m. That's for sure. Didn't get much. I didn't get no sleep that whole day. I was up from 2 a.m. Throughout the whole day. But man, I was just so thankful and just so blessed because I do honestly I did not see it coming. And what's funny is me and my dad had talked about it that same year in the off season. He was like, what would you do? He's like, would you ever come back home? Like, or when would you? Was the question. Like, when would you ever come back home? I was like, honestly, I said I wouldn't want to come back home like towards the end of my career. But if certain situations, predicted where I got traded or, I was able to sign a free agent long-term deal here, like I do it in a heartbeat. But um, and then fortunate enough, I ended up getting traded. So like, it was awesome, man. It was awesome, especially that debut I had in Frisco. That felt like a major league debut. It was crazy, but just to be able to live in my own space and know that I get to sleep in my own bed, especially after the season. I don't have to really drive to go anywhere. Like nothing beats that too. Especially knowing where all the food places are. Like I'm not in a different town or different city where I have to find food and stuff like that. It's like I know where everything is here.
Yeah, definitely. There are a lot of good options near the ballpark and just in DFW.
For sure, for sure.
All right, so those were the questions from the comments for now, and I was going to move on to the ones that I had. So, you were drafted 4 times in 4 years, as you, of course, know. 2012, 22nd round to Pittsburgh, 2013, 36th round to Cincinnati, 2014, 25th round to Minnesota, and then you bounced all the way up in 2015 to the 5th round and signed with the Nationals. So I wanted to know, what was that whole process like, and what was your decision as well to keep going back to college and keep proving your stock value?
It was just more so. It was just about believing in myself, but not being able to take a very, I wouldn't say a bad deal, but I didn't even pitch for like 2 years, and then the third year, I didn't even. I was coming back from surgery, and so it wasn't enough money to do that, So I was like, man, I need to go somewhere where I can prove myself, but also just show that I'm healthy. You know, I feel like also for anybody that's a high school kid going through a draft process, for me to sign out of high school, it need to be life changing money. Because I'm a high school kid, and I I really saw it like this as well. I need to mature also, but then also like people don't really take this in factors in consideration that the more money you sign for, the more time it buys you in baseball. So, the average span of high school kids getting to the big leagues is 5 years, and the average span for college is 3 to 4. So it's like, imagine if you sign for, you know, four or $500,000 out of high school or college, excuse me. It buys you more time, or even high school. You sign for $500,000, $600,000, that buys you time because we don't know if we're going to ever get to the big leagues. We don't know how long we're going to play in the minor leagues. I mean, nobody knows because everything happened. I mean, how many times you've seen first rounders or high draft picks sign for a lot of money, got a lot of potential, but then don't end up making the big leagues because they have injuries. And injuries happen. So I kind of looked at it from that standpoint, which is more so just about making sure I was ready. that when I did step into pro ball, I would be able to just hit the ground running.
Yeah, especially like you said, the people that are number one, number two picks, and then they don't go anywhere. As well as playing in the minor leagues, unfortunately, they do not pay them almost anything. So if you're going to come out as a 17, 18-year-old getting drafted, you don't want to be making $10 an hour because you could just go work at McDonald's and do that.
Basically,
Yeah.
100%.
So that's interesting then, and I definitely understand your thought process there.
For sure.
And next question that I had was about your rodeo background. I've kind of read up on it a little bit and saw the article on Sports Illustrated. I kind of wanted to know what was your craziest experience relating to that, because I know you did it for a large majority of your youth.
Oh man. Oof. Um,
Or maybe just multiple
Craziest.
experiences if you can't pinpoint just
I
one.
mean, I've had so many though. I've had so many doing that. Probably the best one I had was when I went with my uncle. I rode with him, my grandma, and my grandpa. We went to Cheyenne, Wyoming for the Daddy and Mall. That's like the one of the most famous rodeos ever. And I had been up there plenty of times, but I was able to go when I got older. And just to go that, we went to, I think we stopped in, I think it was North or South Dakota. He was up in a rodeo in South Dakota. That was my first time ever being in South Dakota, and that was awesome. Like I'm over here eating pancakes at this blackjack. I forgot what it's called, blackjack, something like that. And they had pancakes as big as a plate. It was some of the best pancakes I've ever had in my life, you know. And just being in South Dakota and being able and just being able to see the mountains and everything with snow on it was awesome. So like, and then being able to experience it with my grandma, my grandpa, and my uncle as well. That was fun also. So that and probably every competition I went to was an experience because if I lost money or won money, it was always fun because there was people I knew there, you know. And on top of that, it was more like a getaway from baseball.
Yeah, that was really interesting. Me reading up on that because the connections with your grandpa as well, being like one of the most famous people ever to do it. My rodeo knowledge is very limited, so it's been about the
It's
past
all right.
day.
It's
But
all right.
yeah, that must have been really cool growing up with that and getting such a prominent figure in the business to kind of mentor you almost.
Yeah, for sure. But man, I gotta give like credit to my dad and my uncles though, because they were the ones I was really in their practice pen with most of the time. You know, so they taught me a lot. Like whether that's with having grit, more so, but just more so practice work ethic was what I learned from that.
And I imagine some of those skills transferred to baseball and more of the mental aspects as opposed to the physical, unless you're getting thrown around in a fight with Ugneto Odor or something.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. You know, it helped out a lot in baseball, but I really started to notice it more whenever I got older.
Very cool. Have you done anything with that since, or just been focusing on baseball?
I've been messing around with it a little bit. Nothing too crazy since the season about to start, but it's some stuff that obviously is never going to leave me. And I made it known that once I get done playing, I'm going to jump into it. But it's definitely something I still mess around with.
That's really cool. And then the last kind of question I had here was talking about that social media step up challenge and how you're kind of crushing Jose Trevino right now. How do you feel about all that, and what was your strategy to get followers? I saw you were doing a PS5 giveaway.
Yeah. So, man, we both kind of I we both kind of just wanted to do something fun for the fans and just be interactive with them. Um, but yeah, man, he knows me. Like I'm very competitive when it comes to stuff like that. Like I take that stuff serious. But I wanted to make it fun. So I was able to get Wolf ball bats and stuff like that, and then a bunch of other gifts I'm gonna give away with the PS5. I'm like, man, I want to just you know make this fun before we leave for spring training. Like give somebody a PS5 hard there to get their hands on them. So I was able to get my hands on one and be able to hold on to it. And so yes, I am crushing him in it, and he's still a little upset right now because I've been gaining more followers than him, and I'm like, he's thinking he's over here. He's a sore loser. I'm gonna go ahead and just say that he's a very sore loser. He is, because you know why? He's called me, he's texting me, he's been like trying to accuse me of a whole bunch of things. I'm like, dude, I am not doing nothing. I literally made a post. I've been telling buddies and friends to, hey, repost this. I'm doing it on Facebook, and I'm like, that's how I grew it. Like and plus I was like, bro, it's a PlayStation 5. Like who doesn't want one? You know what I'm saying? It's like Xbox people are like, man, if I can get my hands on a free PS5, I'd do it in a heartbeat. So it's like, So I mean, he thinks I'm doing some type of cheat. I'm like, bro, I haven't done nothing. I'm literally just posting, and then he pulled some slick stuff too, where he stole my post. So
yeah, I noticed
but I got something for him for that, because he's a little upset that I'm beating him, and he's it is what it is. But yeah, I got a little something for him. But yeah, man, it's a fun thing we love doing. We love trying to interact with fans, since we both are like wanting to do that. And just want to make it fun for spring training, somewhat try to lighten up the mood, and just have a little competitive, because we're always going at it between Spurs and Mavericks, and so I'm like, hey, we're gonna get some bragging rights right here.
Yeah, and the Spurs and Mavs is a whole other thing there
Yeah,
too.
it's a different one.
When the official Rangers page posted the little graphic with the numbers, I was mind blown, because you started with about half as many followers as I have, and now you almost have double as many as I have.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. It's funny. It's funny how it grows like that, And I haven't done anything. All I did was make a post, and like I said, I've told a bunch of my buddies. See, what he doesn't know is, like, and I made it known to him, like, bro, I got a bunch of friends that have accounts that have over, like, one of my buddies, he has an account over 668,000 followers, and I'm like, and like,
wow.
and he makes like TikTok videos. He makes videos, and like his stuff is hits. So once he posted about the PlayStation 5, the average age of his fans is, he said, it's like from 17 all the way up to like 23, 24. Obviously older, but that's like the biggest range.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I've told him that. I was like, bro, I literally told you, like, he posted on his, and then I couldn't tell him the other ones, but like a couple others did as well. But I'm like, bro, this is what kids want. Everybody's playing video games now. So I'm like, you gotta get with the program,
Yeah, that's definitely the hottest commodity right now, is getting a PlayStation 5, especially a free one, when all you have to do is follow someone on Instagram.
And it's gonna be and whoever wins it is gonna be the happiest person in the world, because they're gonna get so much stuff with it, And I just wanted to. The reason why I wanted to just add more stuff, just to be more competitive with Jose, but then also just make it fun, because, I hope that the fan that wins it is a baseball fan, because there's gonna be a lot of like baseball stuff with it. But either way, it's like, whether they are a parent that got kids and stuff like that, like, this stuff would be very useful for them.
Yeah, definitely. And I've been trying to give both of y'all a little boost, but I guess Jose is kind of trickling behind some. But I'm trying to help y'all out any way I can.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's trickling. He's falling behind.
Yeah.
He's falling behind pretty bad. And so after that post I made with the Wolf balls and stuff I added, man, I literally. So what I did was, we were working out when I posted that picture yesterday, and I turned my comments off, or I didn't turn my comments off. I turned off the notifications. I was like, all right, let me see what happens. And so I checked it in the middle of the day. I checked it later on that night. I checked my phone maybe like three times that day, and even today as well. And I look, and I'm like, oh, I gained over, an extra like 2,000 or 3,000 followers within that. And I'm like, I don't have any more proof. I'm like, bro, I'm literally telling you, that's all I'm doing is just posting, and it's being reposted. He's like, oh no, it's something else. I'm like, I don't know what else it is. I really don't. I was like, you're just a sore loser, probably, because you know you're gonna lose.
Yeah, well, you get caught in that Instagram algorithm, and then everything just takes off. So it's.
Well, I mean, and yeah, I mean, and just like I was trying to tell him as well. I'm like, bro, like, who doesn't want a free PS5? There's guys out here selling. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys are out here selling PlayStation 5s for over $1,000. I'm like, who's to say? Oh, all it takes for you to follow me, and then tag all your friends that you want for an extra entry and all that stuff, and then share it. I'm like, that's some of the easiest stuff. You get a chance to win a free PS5 with other stuff. It's like, who's gonna turn that down? Even I would. There's no way I could turn that down.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, just all things considered, that's good stuff.
For sure.
All right, and then to wrap this up here, I kind of have some rapid fire questions. These are the same ones that I asked Scott Heineman as well about a month ago.
Okay. All right.
But these are the most important ones that I will ask you all night tonight.
Okay.
So
All right. Cool.
no pressure.
Cool.
Okay, first one. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
No.
Okay. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Waffles or pancakes?
Waffles.
If you could play another sport besides baseball, what would it be?
I'd be a tight end roper right now.
And then the last one, and definitely the most important one, who has the best Rangers fan page on Instagram?
You know what's funny? I don't really follow that many. I think you and another one, but I know you got the biggest following. So I definitely, you're definitely up to date with your stuff. So I 100% pick you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I try to keep up with all the news. It's been a lot this past 12 months.
It's hard. It's hard, man. Especially, this only going to get even more, as the season goes on, and then spring training as well. But I think with you also doing these interviews with players is going to be huge. And help grow your fan base a lot.
Yeah, man. I've been trying to reach out to people. Sometimes it's a little tough because they get like 1,000 messages, so mine gets buried with everyone else.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. Even like right now, I like even outside of the PlayStation stuff, like it's hard. Like I've had buddies reach out to me and stuff like, "Hey, I sent you a message, even though I'm not following them or something like that." I'm like, dude, I'm over here scrolling. I'm trying to find it.
Yeah,
it gets pushed down.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm definitely grateful that you got mine, so that we could do this and
for sure
get this content out to the fans. So that's about all I have for you here tonight. Is there anything else you wanted to say to the fans that are still watching?
Go follow me. Don't follow Jose. Put hashtag Team Taylor and be ready for the other prizes I got, because the more other prizes I got is going to be heavy towards Ranger fans, and I really hope a Ranger fan wins this one.
All right, well, there you have it, folks. I got his social media in the description as well as below his name right now on the screen, so y'all can hit him up, Instagram, Twitter, more specifically Instagram, but also get him on.
I'm very active on Twitter, so
y'all can get him on there, and that's about it. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll have a edited version of this up as well, and I'll be sure to get it out.